Greetings and welcome to At Your Library from our homes. My name is Clayton Cheever and I'm the Assistant Director of the Thomas Crane Public Library. I'm glad to let you know that while all our buildings are indefinitely closed, we are always open online where we have tons of things for you to read, watch, and listen to. While we're closed, all late fees are suspended and all holds are suspended too. If you have things checked out, please keep them at home and don't try to return them. Please visit us at thomascranelibrary.org for free online books, movies, and more. We have 2 new pages where we've collected resources you can reach from home and where you can find things for your kids to do at home too. Have you lost your library card or never had one? Sign up for an e-card online for access to lots of free online resources for fun, for learning, for all ages. Do you need help getting your e-card or finding and accessing all the library's online offerings? Your librarians are keeping their safe social distance at home while also standing by to provide live personal assistance. We can make recommendations on what to read, listen to, and watch next, connect you with all the services and information you need, and help with any general questions you may have. Just visit thomascranelibrary.org and click Questions, Chat with a Librarian at the bottom right of the page, or just pick up the phone and dial 617-376-1102 during the following hours. On Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to noon and again from 5 to 7. Friday from 10 a.m. to noon and from 2 to 4. If those hours don't work for you, just give us a call at 617-376-1102 and leave a voicemail message with your contact information for a return call. You may also use the Ask a Librarian link on our website or send email to quref@ocln.org. We're starting to provide some online programs, and we'll be sharing information about these on our webpage and on Facebook and Twitter. Our first virtual program is one we had scheduled to take place in the library but had to postpone when we closed the buildings. We're partnering with our favorite doctor of musicology to explore what made the top songs of 1970 so great. Professor Case's guided listening party will be taking place on Wednesday evening, April 15th, starting at 7. The link to log in, it's a bit long, but you'll get this. It's https://bit.ly/tcpl-2020-04-15-7pm-1970 songs. That's just the date, basically, the time, and 1970 songs. You can also find this on our online calendar and on Facebook. We hope to live stream it as well on Facebook and on YouTube. Here's an interview we filmed to help you learn a little bit more.
Hello, Quincy. My name's Eileen Fontenot, and I'm one of the librarians at the Thomas Crane Public Library. And today I'm with Wheaton College professor Del Case. So welcome, Del.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, good to see you again. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Well, I've lived in Quincy for about 15 years, and I first taught at Eastern Nazarene. Now I teach at Wheaton College down in Norton. I've done a lot of music work in the city, classical music, but also pop music. I'm really interested in popular music. I teach and do research on popular music, and I'm really excited to come back to the library and give one of my talks on pop music. The topic is great music of 1970, and there's just an incredible list of records that were released in 1970. And so I'm going to pick 5 or 6 songs from those artists and those records and sort of go through them and talk about, I think, musically what makes them so great and why they've stood the test of time.
Yeah. So yeah, 1970 has already been 50 years, so it's a big anniversary, and we're getting into the 70s in that anniversary. And there are a few, if I could mention a few, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Simon and Garfunkel, Hey Jude, Led Zeppelin 2, Morrison Hotel, Santana, Chicago 2, Abbey Road, and Will and the Poor Boys with CCR, and Tom Jones and Johnny Cash. So those are huge names.
Huge names, a great variety as well. I mean, that Johnny Cash record was #1 on the country charts, but #6 on the pop charts, which doesn't happen very often.
No.
It's just you have country, you have southern rock, you have blues rock, you have jazz rock with Chicago, you have soul, and Jackson 5, also, that was their first record. And then the Beatles, Hey Jude, that song was released at that point. So it's quite a variety. And also some of these individual songs in those records are some of the best loved songs of the popular music era.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, so there's a lot of crossover, obviously. So there'll probably be something a little for everyone who is a fan of rather, the jazzy type or the rock, So it should be exciting. So what can people, besides you're going to play the music and everything, and what else can people expect from your program?
Well, I'm not a super fan like a lot of people. So I always tell people that my specialty as a musician is being able to listen to the music and sort of explain sort of what's going on. And I like to think that it's a way of helping people to experience their favorite songs in new ways. I don't know as much about the history and the sort of the artistic background, the biography of a lot of artists. That's what I mean by not being like a super fan.
Right.
So what I love to do is talk about a song, how it sort of works as a piece of music, and then open up the floor for people to share their memories or their thoughts or their knowledge about maybe the cultural context of the record, for example. And I learn a lot from that. So people do not have to have any musical background at all to come to this kind of event. In fact, that's my job, is sort of to equip people with certain ways of thinking and listening to music. But I always look forward to learning a lot about the records myself.
Yeah. So it seems like it's a lot of a program for a lay person. It doesn't have to be someone who's like, I know these notes and that and this and everything. So it'd be interesting to hear maybe also a personal side to these songs.
I've heard some great stories from people who attend these events about personal connections with the artists or where they were when they first heard the song. Really compelling stories that add so much color. Because with pop music, it's not just about the sounds that come out. It's about how they fit into the time they were released, and how they fit into the individual lives of the fans. And how they contributed to mainstream society. And that's not as much how what happened to classical music, where today you don't have to know a thing about Mozart to appreciate Mozart at all. And so that's why I like talking about popular music.
Yeah, it's something that everyone can relate to,
Absolutely.
even like younger folks who might have not lived through that period of time. And it'd be interesting I'm sure for them to hear about, what went on that time. So
yeah, and you're going to hear these songs on the radio still, and they're going to be influential on artists working today that are popular.
Yeah, we were talking earlier before the cameras rolled about the art also of the visual arts.
Yeah.
On these records. So. Kind of a weird question. Do you play the records, or do you just have it electronically?
If I own some of these, and I might bring a couple, because the album artwork is really special.
Amazing.
But usually I just play it digitally, and we can even show the artwork digitally.
Right.
But it is important when you think of a record. I mean, it was something tangible that you could hold.
Right.
Leaf through these big full color pictures.
Right.
It added a lot to the experience.
Yeah. So we've seen in recent years the resurgence of vinyl, which is very interesting to me. It's kind of a throwback to this era. What do you think that causes that? I mean, why do people want vinyl suddenly again?
Well, I do think that one of the aspects that makes popular music really interesting is that it has this distinctly nostalgic component. So material culture or items, swag, or sort of mementos from shows, they have their own sort of cachet, if you will. And many people do look upon the 60s and 70s as a golden era of popular music. And so the record, the actual vinyl record, sort of comes to symbolize a golden era. So a lot of indie rock bands and others are releasing new albums on vinyl as well as digitally, and I think they're trying to capture that sense of that sort of hipster cachet. I personally think that that music sounds better on vinyl, but generally speaking, I get that sense when I hear classical music more because the fidelity is higher. Pop music is already so heavily affected and sort of constructed in the studio that the fidelity doesn't matter as much, sort of the accuracy of the sound.
Okay.
That's not the point. You're not really capturing a sound as much as you're creating a sound. So I think that it's not the reason why vinyl is back in a sense that has less to do with how it sounds and more that it symbolizes sort of a hipness
Right.
that used to exist.
Exactly. They're trying to recapture that. Yeah. let's see, anything else you'd like to share with us about the program?
Well, I just hope that people come. You don't have to have any musical experience, and and I also hope if people come that they will feel free to share their thoughts, because as I said, I learn as much as they hopefully do from me, because I wasn't there in 1970 yet, and there's a lot of stories behind this music that I'd love to find out about.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. So thank you for coming.
Library Director Megan Allen recently spoke with QATV's Joe Catalano to share more about what we have available online while our buildings are closed.
I'm Joe Catalano, and although, of course, the Thomas Crane Public Library is closed due to the coronavirus crisis, that is not stopping them from reaching out to their patrons to offer some new online services and programs, and also to encourage new folks to utilize the library as well. So the director, Megan Allen, is joining us remotely as well, this new normal mode of communication, Megan, to chat with us about what the library is doing during this unprecedented time, really. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and it's delightful to see your face. I think one of the things everyone is struggling with is the loss of our regular routines and seeing the people that we normally see. So nice to see you.
Hopefully we can do it again in person real soon. But in the meantime, this will have to suffice. Let me ask you before we start about your online services. How are you, personally and professionally dealing with this situation?
Well, it's been very challenging because all the library staff are at home, so we're scattered. And although we were beginning to prepare for this eventuality, we were far from ready. So there have been many logistical and technical challenges that we've been tackling virtually, having lots of video meetings over the last couple of weeks. Luckily, we already had many resources available online for people. Really, the challenge is helping people use those resources because not everyone is familiar with them. So, as we like to say, our buildings are closed, but the library is still open, and our staff is still available to help people. So that's kind of the message that I'd like to get out, that we have many regular visitors to our buildings, something between 10 and 12,000 people a week come into our buildings. So I'm sure it feels like a loss for a lot of people. They can't come in and get their books and their DVDs and just use the space, see our friendly librarians. And many of them probably have never used an ebook before. And we want to make sure those folks are aware that we're here to help them learn how to use those.
Sure. I guess we should just first, logistically, we should remind folks that the main branch and all other branches are closed, correct?
Yes. Yes. And right now it's closed for an indefinite period because, like everyone else, we're following the guidance of the public health professionals and the governor and the mayor, and so we don't know when we'll reopen. So we're assuming it's going to be for longer than anyone wanted. And so we're not waiting around to open again. We're working really hard to step up our digital services and assistance for people.
Sure. And for materials that are due while you're closed, Megan, is there a reprieve for that?
We have suspended all of our fines, overdue fines, and we've extended the due dates. Basically, nobody has to worry about that. We'd like people to keep the things they have at home. Our book drops are open and we're checking them, but it's better to just keep them at home for now. And we will not be charging overdue fines on anything that's out. And I'm sure that after we reopen, we'll probably have a long fine-free period afterwards because some people will still be at home, or reluctant to come out when we reopen again.
Right.
It's so hard to predict what things are going to be like after we reopen, but certainly people don't need to worry about fines or charges now.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was important to get that out. Maybe some folks were concerned about that. Also, I'm guessing that the bookstore at the main branch is also closed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about what you are doing, which is tons, actually, as much as really technologically and humanly possible during this time. What are some of the key features that you'd like folks to know about?
Right. Well, just like when we're open, we have resources for people. We can provide help to people, and we're also planning to do some live programming as well. We haven't quite gotten there yet. So basically, anyone who has any kind of device, computer, laptop, tablet, e-reader, smartphone, and internet access can use many, many free resources through our website. And some of them you need a library card for, but if you don't have one, or you forgot, or you can't remember your number, there's a way to sign up online for a library card too.
Okay.
So basically, anyone in the community has access to all these resources. So we have ebooks and e-magazines and e-audiobooks. So if you like to listen to books online,
Great.
we have streaming music and also streaming movies, documentaries, educational courses like the Great Courses. So if you want to learn something while you're stuck at home, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
there's a
wondering how many
lot that's
people are going to learn a new
available.
language during this time.
I don't know. I was talking to one of my supervisors yesterday, and she said she's been trying to learn Spanish and it's been slow going, so she's really going to focus on that during this period and see if she can
why not?
step it up.
Get the downtime, sure.
Yeah.
And we should, I guess, kind of start to show folks if we can. It's thomascranelibrary.org. That's the website to go to.
That's right.
All these services are free. Is that right?
Yes. They're all free.
Okay. And also the Wi-Fi is free outside of your buildings if folks,
Yes. And I know that not everybody has Wi-Fi at home. And we do have Wi-Fi outside of 3 of our buildings. The North Quincy branch is under renovation right now. So, but the Adam Shore branch, parking lot, you can park there, use the Wi-Fi. Wallaston branch doesn't have a parking lot, but there's probably plenty of street parking right around it right now.
Yes, right.
And the main library, you might have to get closer to the door, sit on a bench to use it, but it does extend outside the building.
Yeah,
so.
Just stay 6 feet apart from each other and
exactly. Unless it's your family member that you're living with, then you're allowed to sit next to each other. Yeah.
Okay, so can we have a little show and tell?
Sure. Let's see. Can you see our website?
See the main website. Yep.
Okay. So this is what you see when you come to thomascranelibrary.org. We've made a bunch of changes for people who are used to looking at our website. We're basically emphasizing all of our electronic resources.
Right.
So, and right in the center where it says library news, you can see the highlights, the things I just covered about the late fees being suspended and keeping your materials at home. But we've created 2 new pages to just make it easier for people to find all of our resources. So one is TCPL at Home. The other one is TCPL at Home for Kids. So that I'll show you both of those.
Great.
There's a link right here to getting an online library card if you don't have one. We also have a page where we're putting information about COVID-19 and the crisis in general. If people want to find some reliable information, it's right there. And if you go down a little farther, this is something brand new that we've been working on that we just launched yesterday, our live help desk. Obviously, it's a challenge. We don't have staff in the building. Everybody's at home.
Right.
So trying to organize some channels, ways that the public can reach us and get live personal assistance we felt it was really important, especially for all the folks who may not have ever used our e-resources before, and they need help figuring out how to get them on their devices. So we're here to help you do that and also answer any of the questions you normally would call and ask us, which many people do, and provide community information and referrals. So we have a live help desk. This is the phone number to call, 617-376-1102. And we are staffing at particular days and times, so you'll see that here on the screen too. And we are scheduling staff in teams of 2. So if you call or use our live chat during those hours, we have 2 employees available to field your questions, walk you through getting an e-card or getting an e-book, whatever it is you're interested in doing.
Okay.
If those hours don't work for you, we have our Ask a Librarian form, and you can also just send us email, and we have staff monitoring that all the time and responding. So let me show you just quickly the TCPL at Home page.
Sure. And it's important to point out this is not just for Quincy residents, right, Megan? It's for everyone.
Some of our resources are just for Quincy residents, and some
okay.
of them are not. It depends. So this just, again, gives you a link to get the free e-card, the link to send us an email, and then the rest of this are just quick links to take you directly to online audiobooks, ebooks, magazines, etc., and some other information you might be interested in.
Great. I know parents will be very grateful for a lot of this.
Yes. And then I'm just going to go back home again.
Yep. So just click on the crane, right, to go back home.
Just click on the crane in the upper left. Okay. And for our TCPL at Home for kids, we know all the kids are home with mom and dad and maybe grandparents now. So keeping them engaged and keeping the learning going is important. So again, we have links to ebooks, e-magazines, etc. And then also our children's librarians are putting together all kinds of resources. Most of these are free for anyone.
Okay.
A lot of cultural institutions and artists and performers are providing all kinds of free content online for anyone to use. So we're just sort of curating and gathering together the best of here. So you can see some of it's learning oriented. We have some early literacy activities for the wee ones. So there's a lot to do online for kids and families.
Yeah, this is just great. I mean, really, you've kind of, you're filling in the gap really where the school system, left off when they were forced to close. And I know that they'll be gearing up at the Quincy Public Schools also, but this is just fantastic.
Yes, the schools are certainly working hard as well. And I know they're providing lots of enrichment resources for families. The other thing to notice, people will see down on the lower right, the little red box that says questions, contact us.
Yes.
During our live help desk hours, that changes to say questions, chat with us. And if you click on it, you'll be able to go into a live chat with a librarian.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So let's see, what else can I show you? Let's go back. I'm clicking on the crane in the upper left, just taking you home again.
Yep.
If you click on the e-card link.
Yes.
That's the page that tells you about, well, this is just the registration page to sign up for an e-card. Yeah.
What would you need an e-card for, Megan?
Well, you need an e-card to get any of the library-funded resources as opposed to free resources that are free online for anyone.
Okay.
So, for example, our Overdrive ebooks you need a library card for. access to our streaming music and movies through Hoopla and Canopy. Those are the vendor names, Hoopla
Okay.
and Canopy. You need a library card because those are resources that we pay for with our budget from the city to allow people to access that content.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And an e-card is available to anyone, is that right?
Yes, an e-card is available to anyone.
Okay.
And you just fill in your information on that form that you just saw that includes your address. And if you live in Quincy, we'll see that you live in Quincy, and it gives you access to some of the things that only Quincy residents get access to.
Oh, very good. Okay. So this might be an opportunity. I'm just trying to look at the silver lining. You might get some new patrons that maybe had not used the library in the past.
Well, I certainly hope so. It's a great resource for people, and not everybody can afford to subscribe to Netflix or some of the other online, paid resources. And there's certainly there are certainly free ebooks online that you don't need to pay for, like from Gutenberg Project and classics and things that are out of copyright. But if you want to read the latest bestsellers, you can't get those for free, except at the library.
That's right.
So the other thing I'd like to show people is the other way to find all of this online content. If you look at the very top where it says books, music, and movies, each one of them has a section that says either read now. You'll see on this one it says read now. On music, there's a listen now.
Great.
And movies, there's a watch now.
Super, yeah.
And those links will take you right to the options, the online options that we have. So let's just look at movies for a moment.
Okay.
So what this will show you is it will give you information about our different options, Hoopla, Canopy, and Overdrive, and what's in them. But we also have right at the very top here, these 3 boxes that you see. Those are actually little online video tutorials that you can watch. They're short, just a few minutes long, but they'll walk you through each of these and how to use your library card to sign up for it.
Oh, super. Okay.
So we have those in each of the sections too.
That's great. I am absolutely.
So if you do it yourself type and you're not sure you want to live chat with the librarian or call us on the phone, you can try watching one of these video tutorials first and see if you can figure it out on your own.
Yeah, that could be a learning process all by itself.
Yes.
I am absolutely amazed at how much material you and your staff have been able to put together in a relatively short period of time to offer to folks. This is quite a valuable and really rich resource.
Well, a lot of it was here already.
Okay.
So we're just trying to make it easier for people who weren't already using it to find it and enjoy it. There really is something for everyone here, all ages. So we hope people will give it a try if they haven't yet.
I wonder if you'll be able to judge once things going to get back to normal. If this will kind of increase the usage of the online services.
It will be interesting to see what happens in the future. We certainly are thinking longer term, and nobody expected this to happen, obviously.
Right.
And here we're all relying so much on the internet. And obviously, eventually we'll be back in the building and able to provide personal service and print materials again. But we're also thinking that there may be a place for more reliance on online resources in the future.
Yeah.
And we're also thinking in terms of online programming as well, which I haven't mentioned. we've been concentrating getting our live help desk up and running,
Mhm.
but we've also been brainstorming about what kinds of online programming we could provide.
Mhm.
We've never done that before.
Right.
All our programs have been in the building.
Yeah.
You come in for a movie or a concert or a story time or to hear an author talk. But while we're closed, we want to be able to provide some of that content online as well.
Sure.
So our children's librarians are bubbling over with ideas
Yeah.
for ways that they can reach out to kids and families in the city with programs, story times, scavenger hunts, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And our adult librarians too, they're talking about online book discussions and other kinds of programs. So we're right now kind of figuring out what platforms we want to use for that and addressing some of the issues. And again, we're all scattered in our own homes,
Right.
which makes it a bit challenging,
Yeah.
but I have an amazing and creative staff, and I'm sure they're going to come up with lots of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So stay tuned is what
Right.
I have to say to Quincy. And right now, our calendar, we're hiding all of the events that we had previously scheduled because they're not happening. But as soon as we start having some online events, we'll be putting those events right into our online calendar.
Okay.
And those events, I'll actually show people. I'm going back to the homepage.
Mhm.
And you'll see on the left side where it says upcoming events, right now it just says library closed, library closed. That's a feed from our calendar.
Yep.
As soon as we start putting in some of our online events, you'll start seeing those show up in the feed right here on the front page.
Okay. Great.
So, and people can also go to the events and classes and click on our events calendar, and they'll be able to see our events.
Super. Yeah, that'd be something they could print out and stick up on the refrigerator so they know what's going on.
Yes, and we're looking forward to engaging people through online programming as well.
Yeah. Are you utilizing social media at all, Megan?
Oh, yes. We have several social media channels, so that's another good way to find out what's happening at the library. You can
Sure.
like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Yes.
Okay.
We also, we will be sending out a newsletter, and
Oh.
you can sign up to get our newsletter by email, and
Okay.
there's a link right on the homepage at the bottom to subscribe to our newsletter. So that would be another way for people to find out what's being planned.
Okay, great. And I'm thinking too, obviously being a library, you're going to want to document this whole episode, for future research, so folks can see what happened and how you folks dealt with it here in Quincy. So I'm sure that's part of the thinking process too.
Yes, it definitely is.
Yeah.
This is obviously a very unique period in history.
Right.
And it's a little different for every community.
Mhm.
And we are definitely going to be reaching out and asking residents to share their stories about how they're getting through this and how it's affecting them. And we want to gather that because that is part of the community's heritage.
Exactly. Yeah. How are you?
It's weird to call it heritage since it's happening right now, but
That's
it's
right.
going to be the community's heritage. So
Exactly.
we think it's important to capture it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
Yes.
How are your other colleagues in surrounding communities addressing this? Is it? Have you talked to them at all about this?
I'm sorry, I'm like getting a lag. So I
Oh, let me ask again. I was just wondering if you've talked to your colleagues in other surrounding communities in the public library system about how they're addressing this.
Well, librarians are famous for sharing. We're all about resource sharing. So I will say the whole library community, statewide and nationally, is a buzz. Everyone is communicating, sharing ideas and resources and advice, and there's a lot going on. And so yes, that helps too, even though with all of our logistical challenges, the fact that there are so many people sharing their ideas and things that they're trying out. So it's a learning experience for all of us.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to know we still can learn, I suppose, at any age. I guess that's the overall lesson, right?
Well, I feel like the way we're going to get through this crisis and recover is to stay connected to our culture, to stay connected to learning, and stay connected to our community. And we're all isolated in our homes right now. Luckily, we have the internet. And you think about if this had happened 20, 30 years ago, it would have felt very different.
Yes, we could talk to each other, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yes. So being able to communicate and see people, it makes a huge difference. And it's a way we can try to keep connected with people. So, and I feel the library really has an important role to play locally in all of that. We can help keep people connected to culture and keep people entertained and keep people learning, including kids who are having their schooling disrupted, and keep people engaged and also just still feel connected to your community. And certainly I know my staff misses being in the building, and they miss helping people and seeing people who come into the building every day. So but we're still here. We're still here for you.
Absolutely. Again, thomascranelibrary.org is the main website to go to. And Megan, anything else you'd like to share?
Just give us a call. The staff would like to hear from you. So call our help desk and let us help you use some of all these great resources.
Okay, well, we appreciate you spending some time to show it to us here at QATV, and hopefully we'll be able to reach out to the community. If we can do anything more in the future, please call on us and we'll make it happen.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. To you and your staff. Very happy, healthy April. We'll chat soon, Megan.
Same to you. It's spring, and spring is a time of hope. So let's all keep our hopes up.
Absolutely. All right, be well.
Same to you.
Thanks for watching At Your Library. I've been your host, and I look forward to joining you again next month. Until then, I hope to see you online. Please stay safe, keep washing your hands, and practice safe physical distancing.